Welcome everyone to Two Off the Tee, Fantasy Six Packs Golf Gambling DFS show. I am your host Keith Fleming, live from St. Simons Island, Georgia. Nice little hotel room. And Ryan Mulvey, are you at a rented house? Did you do an Airbnb, or are you also at a hotel?
And I'm really not that far south of you, just here in the Jacksonville Beach area. So we're taking the show on the road for this episode.
We need some sponsors. I mean, come on.
I
Love
know,
that the
right?
comments are already going. My man Ronnie,
Yep.
DFS champion. Man, it was a good week for your boy.
It was a
Uh,
fantastic week for you.
we got disbanded Brotherhood in the chat. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, it was crazy. Just real quickly, because I know it's kind of like talking about your fantasy football teams. Nobody really gives a shit if they're not the one winning
No,
money or winning, but
we give a shit.
um,
That's for sure.
you guys know I've been forever saying cash games, cash games, cash games, single entries, single entries, single entries. And I finally hit a really big one. Hit $100 single entry, won it, won 10 grand on it. The same lineup, which I was fortunate to do that. I had six lineups. One of them I used twice. And it also won a three max, I believe that was $15 single entry. Four of the six lineups cashed, all told, turned $232 into just over 11,200. Uh, I'm going all in, of course, this week. Not all in, but I've already got about $1,000 worth of lineups,
Hey,
Ryan, with a bunch
that's
of
what you're
100 and
supposed to
200
do.
single entries, trying to stay hot. But anybody who has been with us from the beginning knows we grow and win together. I hope to continue, doing that this year. We've had a really good year. I believe we've given six winners on this show. I know I've had five in my betting cheat sheet. Obviously, the DFS cheat sheet was basically all the plays in it, winning me a bunch of money last week. We're in that cheat sheet. You can join that on Fantasy Six Pack right now if you use the promo code F6P PGA. That will give you full access to all of my golf content. That is my model, the betting cheat sheet, the DFS cheat sheet. We actually have PGA stats live on the website. You have access to that. Not to mention all the fantasy football, fantasy baseball, Dave Eddy's best bets of the day. There's a bunch of cool stuff. It's $8.50 a month, and I promise you, it's worth it.
You'll
You can
make your
ask some
money
other
back and
people.
then some. That's for sure. Especially if you just would have followed your advice last week. I
Yeah,
do say,
right.
hopefully, I am not the jinx because I was not able to be on the show last week as me and my son
No,
were
of
out of
course not,
town as
dude.
well. So if you don't win this week, maybe I'm the jinx. But we'll find out.
No,
Hopefully, you cash again big time.
I don't think so. It is interesting though because we are third major. It's kind of crazy to think, Ryan, we're at this point of the year already. I had someone once tell me when I was younger that every year gets a little bit faster. And when you're young, you don't listen to any of that stuff and you're like, whatever. And now that I'm in my 40s, I feel it. I cannot believe it's freaking June. I can't believe we're, at the US Open. We're only a few months away from the Ryder Cup. Like, I mean,
A few months away
it's
from the
just
start of football season, too.
it's flying by. And my golf ends when football begins. But uh, this event, if I'm being honest, is a little overshadowed by Scotty Scheffler's greatness, and it feels as close as I can remember to the Tiger days, where it's like, do we really want to bet on anybody else at Oakmont Country Club, knowing that Scotty Scheffler is in the field playing fantastic golf? He has now had three
Hmm.
wins in his last four events. Over his last seven starts, six top fours. His worst finish, eighth. Uh, I mean, does it kind of feel inevitable? Is he Thanos this week, Ryan?
Well, what do you say? The three inevitables: death, taxes, and betting Scotty Scheffler in cash games. If you
You
don't do
damn right.
that, then I mean that's you should have a shirt that says that at this point. I mean, what he's doing right now in golf is unbelievable. I know everybody probably saw that one thing at one point. The Colorado Rockies had as many wins as Scotty Scheffler did in the same time period, but they're also having a historically bad year. But yeah, I mean, it's from the betting cards. I mean, unless you're willing, like last week, you kind of knew he was going to win. So I put a big number on Scotty, and unfortunately, he ended up going on to win as well. Actually, that was 2 weeks ago at the Memorial. I'm sorry, because he wasn't playing in the RBC. But yeah, I mean, it's unless you want to, in the betting world, if you want to live in the props, that's really all you can live at. And Hard Rock's added now the betting without Scotty Scheffler, and also they've added
We're
one
all
for
doing that,
the
which is
U.S.
great.
Open. It was no Scheffler, no DeChambeau, no McIlroy, which I don't really care about, and no Rahm as well. So you're starting to see it open up a little bit more, like you said, like the Tiger days a little bit.
Yeah, it's I mean, just the DraftKings pricing, which by the way, it feels like a trap this week because Scheffler's 14-4, which I don't ever remember a golfer being that high, but
Yeah,
because it's a major and like, one of the largest fields of the year, they have all these 5 and 6K guys that really do not belong there. So it's actually super easy to build lineups with Scheffler. I'm talking about lineups that I feel really good about. We'll get into some of those in a little bit, but I mean, you can even technically put Rahm and Scheffler in a lineup, say, and still feel pretty good about your other 4 guys. So it's just fascinating to see, especially again with the separation. I think Rory's like 11-1 or 11-2. That's the second most
yeah,
expensive golfer. So
and
Scheffler
I
is
would
more than
stay as far away from Rory
3,000.
as you can.
We're going to talk about him in a few too.
All right.
Let's start with Oakmont because did you know this will be the 10th U.S. Open held here, the most of any U.S. Open venue? I did not know that. Were you aware it's been kind of the staple?
I mean, it feels like it's like Pebble at this point with how often they played a lot early on. I
Yep.
think in like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, it rotated there pretty quickly. So yeah, I didn't realize it was 10, but when the last one was 16
Your boy.
with Dustin, yeah, when he
Yeah.
used to actually play good golf, that was fun times. He hit that
And
fantastic 3-iron on 18 and sealed the deal.
hey, you want to talk about like you forget things over the years. DJ, I remember because I remember it was really wet, and he still though like just smoked the field. I think it probably DJ's most impressive tournament
Yeah,
ever because it's one of the I mean again it's a DJ course where if you can just dominate it with hitting the ball right down the middle, you can do very well here. It's just so difficult to do that, obviously. But I'd
yeah, no
forgotten
doubt.
'07. Do you know who won in '07? Because I had forgot this.
Oh
Won a
07.
Masters a couple of years later.
Ooh,
Got
give me a hint.
arrested not too long ago. Just
Oh,
got back
yes, I
playing
do remember the duck
downhill.
and Angel Cabrera, the duck.
Yep. hmm So
Absolutely. Now I
I had
remember because
forgot
you
about
said
him winning
arrested.
here. Well, I mean,
That was a
got
big context clue.
yeah. Well, I always talk about we went to the Augusta the year he won, and during the practice round, he gave me and Chuck when we yelled "Great shot, Angel!" the hang 10. And my
Nice,
dad tells
nice.
that story to everybody. Everybody.
Of
I
course
mean,
he
if
does.
you
He
ask
tells
my
all the
dad,
stories to
y'all were
everybody.
giving DAP, and they went and got beers later and everything. So, this is the ultimate golf test, though. Ultimate,
Yeah,
and it's amazing. So, just a little bit that you need to know about Oakmont. First of all, they took down every basically tree on the golf course, every single one. And at first, I told Ryan that this is ridiculous. What are they doing? All reports are it's every bit as hard as it was with the trees, and they actually wanted to make it where, look, shape your ball however you want to. Good luck. You're still not going to kick this course's ass. And then to me, the even more remarkable, over 100 bunkers were taken out when they did the renovation. There's still 160 bunkers on this golf course, which is the most of any course on tour. I mean, that is wild stuff, Ryan. Oh, Mike's messed up again. I'm blaming whoever came in there talking to you there. That's on them. Nope, still messed up.
all right, here we go. We're good.
There we go.
Yes, I'm learning. I'm learning. Yeah, she needed to log into Hulu, and you know how you scan the QR codes to get in and all that. But I said I need my phone back when you're done logging in. So, but yeah, I was just saying that when they had 250 plus bunkers there the last time an Open was played there, which is insane to think about from a maintenance standpoint. But when you got that kind of revenue coming into a golf course like that, that's not really a big deal. So, but yeah, to take away that many bunkers and still have 160 is insanity. This golf course, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch these guys. That's for sure. Green's running at 16 on the stimp. A lot of areas that you just can't hold the green, period. So we'll see how that all shakes out.
So another very interesting thing about this venue, if you take the 2007 and 2016 US Opens, in terms of like strokes gained total, uh, plus 5.4 for the field over par is the average score. And again, remember that is with DJ playing on a, like the 2016 was much easier than they said any of the previous Oakmont championships. Because again, this course is known for being firm and fast. That's what, again, Ryan just told you the
Yeah.
greens are around 16, which is outrageous. But it's a weird layout because it's a par 70, 7,300 yards. So for today's standards, for like U.S. Open and PGA Championships, this is nothing. Like it really is. It's not one of them. By the way, that plus 5.4, I meant to add, that is the toughest venue on the PGA Tour this century. So it's not even close. It's Oakmont by, I think, over a shot and almost a half on the rest of the courses that they played since 2000. But the reason this course gets away with, and again, it's really not that long when you consider they have two par fives that are over 610 yards. I mean, it's the only two par fives, but when you're a 7,300 yard course and 1,200 and 50 yards is coming from two holes, by
That's
today's
insane.
standards, again, not very long, but it will punish you. I mean, these are very narrow fairways, an average of 28 yards wide. Think about next time you're 28 yards from a green. That's how wide these fairways are. And there's 5.5 inch rough waiting on you when you miss them. So, from everything we have seen, and there's been a ton of stuff, it does not look like anybody is going to be quote unquote bomb and gouging. And we'll see. Like maybe Bryson and them come with that plan of attack. But I truly believe this is one of the few golf courses that you cannot bomb and gouge because I've seen some comparisons to Wingfoot in 2020. A lot of people have said a lot of the same things. Bryson went out there and he bombed and gouged it. He did. He beat the brakes off everybody. Really, if you look at it by the time the tournament was over, I don't think you
Yeah.
can do that this week. I think you have to hit fairways. I think you have to hit greens. And then it's like, oh, by the way, if you do that, most of the greens are surrounded by rough, not bunkers. Like most of the bunkers are actually affecting your tee shots
Yep.
and your approaches. But if you get to green high, because they don't want to give you a ton of places to run up, players will do that. In some ways, this is almost a link style venue, especially with all the trees gone. And then again, you have that unbelievable rough 16 on the stent meter, and there's only one course that the PGA Tour regularly plays that has bigger greens than Oakmont, and that's Kapalua. And I mean, we are talking about massive greens. So when you're saying that, yes, obviously you need people who putt well, and it's a weird mixture of bent and Poa annua. It's the only PGA Tour venue that is a mix of bent and Poa annua greens. But I think equally as important this week is three putt avoidance and
Yeah.
basically your lag putting or approach putt. I leaned very heavily into both of those statistics because when you have greens this size and this fast that there's 16 on the stem, it's going to be so hard to hit fairways and greens. You cannot then hit a green, even if it is 100-foot putt, and then turn around and three putt it. You've got to at least make par when you're taking the real teeth of this golf course, which is all the bunkers and thick rough and everything out of play. And I think that's going to be a huge part of it this week. The list of winners here is even more evidence that it looks like it's going to be Scotty Scheffler's week because it's pretty much a who's who of the greatest ball strikers
Yeah.
of their era. Angel Cabrera, all-time ball striker. Dustin Johnson, all-time ball
In his
striker. Jack
era, yeah, for
Nicklaus,
sure.
all-time ball striker. Johnny Miller, all-time ball striker. Ben Hogan, all-time
He
ball
was decent.
striker.
He was decent.
Yeah, he's okay. It goes on and on and on. So obviously that is a huge key For me this week, for stats, I did lean into driving accuracy. And again, I know a lot of people are probably going to look at total driving and then count driving distance. And yeah, it's got to be an advantage, obviously, if you have distance, especially when they might be able to reach those two 600-yard par fives if they get the ball in the fairway. And there are two very short par fours that you have to think that gives them a leg up on that. You just want to be as close to the green as possible. However, I don't think bomb and gouge is going to work. So I think accuracy is more important. I'm not worried about players who quote unquote don't hit it far because that's not an issue for me. I'm way more concerned about the Russell Henleys and the Sepp Strakas and these guys that are top 20 in driving accuracy as long as they hit their irons well. Obviously if they struggle from the mid to long iron range, that's a different conversation, but if a
Yeah.
player is solid from tee to green and they're very accurate off the tee, that was one of the first things I looked at. Again, the bogey avoidance, obviously the three putt avoidance, your approach putt, scrambling, because I just don't think there's going to be a ton of birdies here. And then for me, par four scoring. There's 12 par fours on this golf course. They're not an overwhelming set of par fours like we see it like Bethpage Black and some of these other courses where it's 500 yard after 500 yard, but they're tough in other ways, right? Because it's hard to get the ball in the
Yep.
fairway. And the angles are so key. From what I understand about this place, you can actually hit the fairway even with these fairways being so narrow. And if you're on the wrong side of it and you have the wrong angle, you're kind of screwed because you won't be able to stop your ball going into the green. And it's just so I'm really looking at guys that are accurate off the tee, good with their irons. It's really important to me that you can scramble, avoid big numbers. And then the big thing for me is how well do you play difficult golf courses? And you'll see when we get going through my plays this week, I leaned into guys that have played well at Muirfield, that have played well at Augusta, that played well at Quail Hollow, played well at Torrey. Like these tough venues, the same names pop up over and over again. And I think this is going to be the ultimate grind test that we've seen this season on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, a survival for sure. I mean, and that's what the USGA wants to do with the US Open. And I think last year, or really the last couple of years, the scores have been lower than they wanted. So I think the way they've set up Oakmont is designed to see who can survive the best, and survival of the fittest. And like you said, you just got a group of guys that they play that style of golf, and I think that's where you got to live, both in DK and your betting cards.
Ronnie's got a pretty fair point here. He said, shouldn't your graphic be a tee and not a green? Two on the green versus two off the tee. Hashtag, not gonna lie, I don't do the artwork there, Ronnie. So I wish I could have a better answer for you. I don't. Just be impressed that I get to switch the boards and we're not like absolute, accidentally ending the
Yeah,
broadcast a little bit
yeah.
early. Kyle's in the chat. What's going on, Kyle? He sent me a very kind message after the big week last week. So thank you for that, Kyle. Do you want to do DFS first or do you want to do the bets? What do you want to do?
I think we usually do DFS first, so we can live there, and then we can jump into the bets because it kind of parlays into it. No pun intended, just a little bit there.
All right. So the first question, we know the answer, right? We've already talked
Yes,
about it.
yes.
There's
The
three
answer is
constants in life:
yes.
death, taxes, playing Scotty Scheffler, and cash games on DraftKings. I've go ahead and tell you again. I'm going big. I won a bunch of money last week. I'm gonna throw out probably three, four, $200 single entries, another two or three $100 single entries. I think I haven't built so far one lineup without Scotty Scheffler in it. I'll take my chances. Call me crazy, call me whatever. He is the baddest man on the planet. This is just the outrageous point. He's first in strokes gained tee to green, strokes gained approach, strokes gained off the tee. So what do we talk about? This is a ball striker's clinic. He's 30th in driving accuracy, which is outrageous for how far he hits it. Second in scrambling, fifth scrambling from the rough. First in bogey avoidance. He's first in par 5 scoring, second in par 5 scoring, 24th in par 3. And then those two things I was just talking about just shows the embarrassment of Richmond this dude has right now. He's 20th in 3 putt avoidance, 16th in approach putt, and he is 21st in strokes gained putting on tour right now. I can never recommend sitting Scotty Scheffler, but particularly this week at this venue with the guys in the 5, 6K range. Some weeks it's harder than others to fit him into lineups this week, to me, it's just a no-brainer.
Which is the
Cash
great,
games.
yeah, the
Right.
cash
Yeah.
games for sure. Which is the crazy thing is he's as expensive as he's ever been, but
Right.
because the U.S. Open field is so deep, you've got a lot of guys in that less than 6K range to add to make that lineup work. But one of the things that really sticks out, number one on tour in bogey avoidance. If that's not a stat that wins you golf tournaments, I don't know what is. And just the fact that he's leading the entire PGA Tour in that stat is unreal because
It feels
he's not.
like Tiger Jack, right? Like it's
Yeah,
just like once he gets a lead, he's not gonna make a mistake, and
yeah,
that's why I loved what Byron said last week on the show that we saw it with John Rahm, right? Like that he was running that engine as hot as he could all
hmm,
over the PGA Championship trying to catch him, and what happened, right? He blew a gasket, and as he said,
yep,
he leaked, you know, Spanish all over the back nine. And that's what happens with these
yeah.
guys is Scotty has so many more gears than they do that he's just going to be kind of riding in third while the rest of these guys I think are going to be in fifth, sixth gear this entire week trying to survive.
Well, what scares me, what Scotty showed in the PGA Championship was he can make a mistake and give you a door, but he'll shut that door very, very
Mhm.
quickly with some ridiculous iron shot to like 2 or 3 feet getting to tap in. But like he gives him a smidge of hope and then he just pulls that hope right away. And that's just a really great trait to be a very dominant golfer.
And so again, I like Scheffler a lot this week. I'm with you, Rory. This
And
venue should set up well for Rory. It should. He typically puts good on fast greens. Obviously, you take away the last two performances off the rest of the season, his irons have been as good as
yeah,
ever. His driver's been as straight as ever, but I can't trust him. Bryson is
until
another guy that I don't think this venue. How do you feel about Bryson this week?
I know a lot of people are high on him this week, but I kind of got him in the bag with Rory a little bit until Rory shows me he's over this little hiccup or whatever he's doing. I need Bryson to see his distance control get better with his irons. I mean, had he had a little bit better distance control in the PGA, he would have been right there because he was hitting the ball so well off the tee. Now, does that set up well for this golf course? Of course it does. But if you don't have good distance control on the U.S. Open golf course, it's going to be a long, maybe not even the weekend, maybe just a long couple days.
Yeah, because we've seen again, not to rehash this, but we've seen this from him, and it's worked sometimes, and other times it's failed miserably. Him going to these difficult venues and going, I'm just going to bomb and gouge and
Yeah,
try to beat people
yeah.
that way. And I just, from everything I've seen from this rough, I don't think you can do it. I don't think it matters if you have a lob wedge, a sand wedge, a 7 iron. You're playing with fire, just trying to, you know, avoid big numbers if you miss fairways. So I don't like either one of them. And the other reason for that is I think that Rom and Morikawa are
There
are
you go. Look, you corrected it.
much better players for this venue. Rom, I know this is a lot of narrative, but I believe in that kind of stuff. We saw this with Kepka in 2023, where he went out, he had, really kind of a tournament, he had his grasp on it, and then he fell apart. At the
Yeah.
Masters, he came back the very next week and won at the PGA. I think you could see the same thing from Rahm. It would not surprise me at all after seeing what happened at the PGA Championship. He got his bearings back, right? Even Tiger did this in 2019, where people forget in 2018, he was in contention in the PGA and the Open, and he did not get him down. He had a chance to win both of those, then came back and won the Masters. So I think that's good. And then again, for Colin, this is the exact kind of course where I
Yeah.
think he can win because he hits it so straight. And his issue a lot of times is he can't go deep. I don't think that's going to be an issue this week, right? Like this is kind of tailored to his game. Don't make mistakes. Keep it in the short stuff.
And he's a fantastic long iron player, and
Hmm.
so, like you just said, he doesn't have to hit it 350 off the tee like some of these other guys. The only thing that concerns me with Rom is if he does not get off to a good start. He seems to like if he gets off to a good start, he continues on it. But if he gets off to a bad start, he does the same thing and
We
continues
all
on it.
know those
So,
golfers, right, Ryan? Like you
yep,
play with them on the
yep.
weekends that you usually know in the first 3 holes how they're going to
Yep.
play.
Yep, absolutely, and I think he falls right into that mold. Is that who you've got? Not to ask the question, but is that who you've got in your lineup without Scheffler?
Yes, I have both of them.
Yeah,
Like I have Rom and Colin. And so we'll talk about the guys a little bit more expensive in a minute, but the reason again I feel so good about Scheffler, love the 7K range, and I like the 6K range. Like
Yeah,
uh Sepp Straka, I
my
get it.
Austrian boy.
Some people are concerned because, and I get this, he doesn't have the highest height on his ball flight. He is not somebody that hits it really high, especially for a guy that's pretty long, like for tour standards. But I'm sorry, this to me, this course is built for him. He's
Yep.
playing the best golf of his career. He's missed the cut in both the first two majors. I just can't see him going out like this in the majors in a year that he's playing this
Yeah.
well on
Just won
like on American
two
soil.
events. Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt.
he missed the PGA and the Masters. He's won twice. And again, if you want to go by statistics, fourth in tee to green, third in approach. He's 17th in putting, 11th in driving accuracy, first in green and regulation, fourth in proximity. And then again, some of those ones that you don't think of, but they're important. Sixth in bogey avoidance,
Yeah.
38th in three putt avoidance. And then he's actually better than Scheffler this year. He is seventh, or excuse me, eighth or better in par three, par four, and par five scoring. And you're getting him for 7,700.
I
He is going to
couldn't
be my
believe when I saw
most
that
on
he was
player.
that low. It just
I
that
think I think it's the Scheffler
it's
price.
just kind of he's so high up that
They
it kind of
they
pushed
did
everybody else
something because
down.
there's not really any guys in like the 8 to 9K range, or very few, I should say.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of really talented guys in the 7K range.
Yeah,
I
you've
mean,
only got
had
one, two, three, four, five guys between 8 and 9K. That's
yeah.
wild.
And so, like, and again, even in that high range, Hideki at 8K, a guy that I think people are sleeping on. Like,
Hmm.
again, this is a Hideki course. Hideki's a guy that hits the ball very straight, still 22nd in strokes gained tee to green. What I like about Hideki, he's so good around the greens. Like, he's fifth in strokes gained around the greens. He is, what is it? He's third in scrambling, eighth scrambling from the rough. He's still somebody that is very good from the bunkers, third in sand save percentage, fourth in proximity from the sand. And again, remember, there's like 160 bunkers here.
Yeah.
And he's another guy. He's what is he, 43rd bogey avoidance. And I really like he's seventh in par three and 57th in par four scoring. He's only 8K. You got other guys in that range like Russell Henley, who again is a guy, him and Harris English, I'm almost pairing together. And it's because when these guys play tough golf courses, they always seem to play well because their
Yeah.
games are built for that, right? Like their games are not made for these 25 under, 4 day events. I really feel like guys like Russell Henley and Harris English, the harder the competition, the harder the golf course plays, it actually makes it easier on them because their game is grinding out, making
Yeah.
pars, right? Like not
They're used
making
to it.
mistakes, and they both can just roll the freaking eyes out of it. But Henley, again, is a guy that just, I mean, what do you want? Like he's 17th tee to green, 16th approach, 11 around the greens, 14th in driving accuracy, top 10 in green and regulation and proximity. The one thing that scares me a little bit, he is 98th in three putt avoidance, so that's not great. And he's 63rd in approach putts, but he's 25th in bogey avoidance. He's first in par three scoring, 28th in par four scoring. Both of those are going to come up huge. And then for Harris English, like his results this year are insane. He has, I believe it's six top 25 finishes this year. Five of them have came at basically the most difficult venues he's played. We're talking about Torrey Pines. We're talking about Augusta National. We're talking about Quail Hollow. We're talking about Muirfield Village, Sawgrass. Like, he just seems to show up because he's a great putter, very accurate off the tee. Again, a guy that's not going to spray the ball. And for cash games, I love the value of being able to put two or three of those guys of Straka, Henley, and English in your lineup. And I mean, you're talking about 7,700, 7,400. I believe English is 6,700. Same for guys like Corey Connors and Keegan Bradley, who are
Yeah.
also in this range. Ultimate ball strikers, guys that maybe if they putted a little better, they would win and be, obviously greater players. But I think this is the kind of venue where if you hit the ball great, which they normally do, you can get away with not making as many putts compared to other tournaments, especially because both of those guys are actually pretty good at the stuff that matters. Like Connor's 41st in approach putts. Keegan is top 30 in both approach putts and three putt avoidance. So they're not great putters at making putts, but they do a good job of not three putting. They're good lag putters, and with their ball striking and being in that low 7K range, I just think there's so much value there. And like those five guys right there are a huge chunk of my player pool this week.
Well, I mean, and that's what you're looking for in a guy for a U.S. Open. I love what you said about these. Some of these guys, they're not going out there and shooting 25 under par in a 4 round event on an easier golf course, obviously, but they know how to hang in there and make pars, and that's what you have to do at a U.S. Open. This Open, I did see they were mowing down some of the rough around like the greens and stuff like
Yeah, but
that.
did you see it? I couldn't tell that they really had mowed it.
Well, and I was also like, because I saw they were using push mowers on stuff and holding them up. I was like, how does Oakmont not have fly mowers? Like,
Right?
how can a golf course of that stature not have fly mowers when you've got that big of a elevation change around some of your bunkers? And that just seems super dangerous. But yeah, I mean, it's probably still really, really thick, rough, but maybe just trimmed down a little bit. That's what the craziness is. It's so dense that it just your club's going to get caught up by a lot of blades of grass. But yeah, I mean they're going to have to grind it out. So I love the fact that you're pointing out a lot of these guys that just know how to make pars and not make mistakes and not make a bunch of bogeys.
There's a few other guys in the 7K range, and then we'll get again the 6K range where I feel really good for cash, and that's going to allow you to play Scheffler and then maybe another expensive guy if you want to, especially if you want to go away from say Strzok, who's 7,700, or like a Hideki who I mentioned who's 8K, and you want to start more in the 7,400 down range. I think there's enough guys there, like Sam Burns. I know he crushed me last week. Like it would have been an all-time week because we'd have had our sixth winner this season with Burns. I had him at 30 to 1 to win. He
He was
should
right
have
there
won the
though.
tournament.
He was
He
right there.
didn't, but he's still putting so good. And that's what's got
Yeah.
to be so devastating for him is to miss a 5 footer with the way he's putted for the last now 3 months. But he's so good at scrambling. Like Burns, first strokes game putting, eighth in sand save percentage. He never three putts. 19th, 41st in approach putts. And he's one that's weird, despite his numbers. And again, this just shows what putting does. Despite like his approach and tee to green and all his numbers not being out of this world. 44th in par three scoring, 28th in par four scoring, and 32nd in par five because that flat stick, it makes up for
Yep.
a lot. So I really like him. Sunjay M is another guy who's right around, I think he's 7K. Again, a guy that I don't see him going out and winning these shootout tournaments, but I think the harder it plays because he's so good tee to green, it just opens up thing for him. And then you get into the 6K range, and there's a ton of guys I like. I did not get to Brian Harmon, but I really considered it. Like, he
Yeah.
is the kind of player that he's got, I think, 7 straight top 35s at the U.S. Open. Harris English, I should have mentioned, is also a guy that has, I think, made it now in 7 consecutive cuts at the U.S. Open, has four top 20s in that span. But I love Denny McCarthy this week. Like, love Denny McCarthy. Siwoo Kim is right in this range. Again, both of those guys. Siwoo is the tee to green guy who he's going to ball strike it to death. He showed you that PGA Championship making a hole in one on a 250-yard par three. I mean, get out of here. And then McCarthy is just such a good freaking putter that I just he's also had a really good track record. He's played 3 U.S. Opens, finished top 30 in all of them, top 20 in two of them. And then there's another guy in this range that, in my opinion, is one of the best values, and is Daniel Berger,
Yeah.
who his game fits
Totally
so
agree.
well for U.S. Opens. Like across the board, he does everything well. He's a tee to green guy. He's an approach guy. Like he's actually a pretty good putter, and he doesn't make bogeys. He doesn't make mistakes. And I think that at 6,800, I mean, all these guys. I mean, Berger is sixth in strokes gained tee to green, 17th off the tee, 23rd on approach, 31st around the greens, 12th in driving accuracy, 17th proximity, 35th in green and regulation. He's 26th in scrambling, 10th in scrambling from the rough, 31st bogey avoidance, and 10th in par four scoring. I mean, the stuff that we read over that I think is very important this week, he's literally good at all
Falls into
those things,
all
and he's
those categories. Yep.
67 or 800. Like, I think
I'm
there's
just looking
real
through this range.
opportunities.
There's
Yeah.
so many guys between 6 and 7. It's wild, and I think you're spot on. It's just the Scotty Scheffler top heavy effect, and
What's
there's a
going
lot
on,
of
Vito?
good. Let's see. What about like recent form guys? Anybody on there like Ryan Fox's, Ben Griffin, those guys, or is the U.S. Open just too much for them?
So there is a guy that's recent form that I really like, and it's probably not the name people are thinking of because he's just basically had four top 20s. But it's Emiliano Grillo, who's 5,700. Again, a guy that just to me fits the mold of what you're looking for here. Really good iron player. He's 34th strokes gained approach, top 25 in driving accuracy. He's 31st on proximity. I love how good he is out of the sand. He's 19th in proximity sand. And he's another one of these guys, not a very good putter overall, but he's fifth in three putt avoidance. That's a huge key for a guy that hits a lot of greens like he does. Because again, this guy is 34th in strokes gained approach, and he's 41st in approach putt. And he plays both par threes and par four well. He does struggle with the par fives a little bit, but you're getting Grillo at 5,700. And then the other guy that's really cheap that just I am fascinated by is Mark Leishman, who he has not played in a major championship since 2022. He's 6,000 on DK. You can get him at 9 to 1 to top 10. The reason that is significant is from 2013 to 2022, which again, that's the last time he played in a major. He had a top 10 9 out of 10 years in one of the four majors. Mark Leishman is a guy's game who has done very well and is not just at like one major, which you see from a lot of guys, like where they play the Masters, the U.S. Open, or whatever. He's
Oh,
done well at all of them. Like he's played them all well. He finished, I think it was 37th at the 2016 U.S. Open at Oakmont. And I saw an interview with him today that he has just been itching to get back this opportunity. He had to go through a 7 hole playoff just to get here. And he was talking about how much this meant. Mark Leishman at 6K, he's got plenty of distance. He's an elite iron player. Somebody can get really hot with the putter. I think he's a great value at 6K on DK. And again, you can get him, I think it's plus 950 to top 10. I love that value as well.
your boy Gary Woodland too, right at that 6K number as well. You know, obviously he's a past U.S. Open champ, but his game just we kind of talk every time I'm on the show anyway. I talk about him, and he's just getting better and better each week, getting more comfortable out there, getting back to the form that we remember from several years ago when he was just balling out. He's got all the medical stuff behind him now, so like you said, there's just so many guys in these low price ranges that you could really have some fun building some lineups around.
And again, I know I mentioned Keegan, but I want to go through these stats because I just at 7,400, this is why you can build lineups with Scheffler and feel really good about it. Is he is third tee to green, 27th off the tee, 14th in approach, 20th around the greens. He's 47th in driving accuracy, second in driving efficiency, 22nd proximity, 27th in three putt avoidance, fourth in approach putt. And again, this is a guy that's not a great putter. Like you notice, that's a one strokes gained statistic that he's not up there. But if he can continue to be one of the better players on tour at lag putting and avoiding three putts, he's going to be there. And oh, by the way, you got 12 par fours. He's 17th and par four scoring. Like, I just love that value. There's two other names I want to real quickly mention. One's an expensive one, one's a cheaper one. Have you seen enough from Oberg the last couple of weeks to say, okay, I think he's back from the illness he had earlier this year? Because if you feel that way, I think he is primed to do very well in this event. This golf course should set up well for what he excels at.
I feel like he's on the cusp of I don't know if he's back yet. I mean, he's only been playing in the PGA Tour. What, this is his second full year playing on the
Mm-hmm.
PGA Tour because he's so young. Um, I mean, I'm such a huge fan of his golf swing and his game that I want him to do well, but I kind of put him in that same I need him to play well in a major, well enough in a major to trust him to put him on because I don't have him on my betting card or in DK this week.
No,
I want
I
to because I love rooting for him, but it's just I don't know. I need a little more out of him first.
I may end up adding him to a DraftKings lineup again, because I'm going to be
I mean, you
doing
could,
several of the high entry, and I just want to maybe diversify a little
yeah.
bit because again, I think his
What's
game
his
could, and he
ownership
could fit
in
it.
2K?
It's right now projected pretty low because he's basically right there with
Yeah,
Rom and like a lot of those other
he's
guys
kind
that
of
have, like, to
blending
your
in.
point, a lot more history. Yeah, the other guy's the guy that we've been on all season, and it's Stefan Yager,
Yeah.
who is 6K. Uh, and it's hard to compare these courses, but Memorial Park at the Houston Open is another course similar to this one in the sense that you can run up shots to the green. Those are very firm and fast greens. Obviously, they don't have the rough around it like Oakmont. He's had a couple of good performances there. And I just look at it. This guy's short game has gotten so good. He's so good around the greens and on them. He's
Yeah.
top 35 around the greens and putting and strokes gained. He is somebody who is 30th in three putt avoided, 16th in approach putt. He's 64th in strokes gained tee to green. So he's not where he was, but he's still pretty good. And he's top 45 in strokes gained approach. I think this venue could play well for him. And I like him if you're looking for a dart and cash games, like the cheap guys again that I'm using for DraftKings lineup, if say I'm trying to put two of the big boys in or something, are Grillo, Yager, and Leishman because none of them are more than 6K. Again, Grillo's 5,700, which I think is the best value. But I'm going to be again stacking my lineups with Scheffler. You're going to see a lot of the combination of kind of Straka, Burns, Henley, Bradley, Berger. Like those guys are going to be in a ton of my lineups as well as English. And if you don't have anything up on DFS, we'll do some picks to win, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, let's jump into it. And picks to win, maybe a little more on the prop side because picks to win, I think, is a little top heavy right now with Mister plus 250 Scotty Scheffler. And Bryson, Rory, Rom, 6-9, 6-1, 9-1, 9-1. I just don't feel like that's
Is Rom 9-1 on Hard
on
Rock?
Hard Rock. He is, yeah,
Because
he's
he's
nine to
12 to
one.
1 on DK. So I only gave five bets to win this week. I've
Screwed here in
recommended a
Florida.
full unit on Scheffler.
Yeah,
Again,
yeah, no doubt.
plus 275. It's like, I think that's the way to go. Like, I'd put a full unit on Scheffler. I put half a unit on Rom because I really do. I think those are the two guys that are by far most likely to win this event. And then I just, a little dart on Burns,
Yeah,
Straka, and Henley because they're all getting 60 to 1 or better odds. So, I mean, you're putting like maybe, 1/10 of a unit on those guys.
yeah. I mean, and you see it occasionally in the U.S. Open where you get a guy coming out of nowhere that has a good first round and kind of builds on that and gets a big enough lead to hang on. So, yeah, it just you got to go Scheffler though, I think. And if he, where do you put Scheffler if he wins this U.S. Open?
So, this is where it's going to get difficult because he'll have four majors.
Yeah,
And we have to
and
be careful, right?
three out of the four.
He'll have three out of the four, and that'll be exactly where Rory was basically at this point in his career. And that's why I don't want to get too carried away
Yeah, yeah,
because even though, again, I made the point last week that it's not fair to compare these guys anymore because Rory, Phil, none of the guys outside of Tiger has had this kind of run where they are just always there. Like, not only, again, he's won 13 freaking times in basically a year and a half, but
yeah,
on top of that, like, I believe it was 27 out of his last 34 starts. He's finished top 10. He's only finished outside the top 25 twice in his last 33 starts. That is insane for that kind of. Because I mean, that's literally Tiger that does that. But I don't want to get too carried away. But I am very like excited for him to do this, even though I know
yeah,
that's going to make it a bummer for betting. I had a friend who's not as big into golf, and they're asking me, who would I bet on this week? And I said, look, man, it's not a good week to be popping your head back in and betting on golf because unfortunately, like Tiger 2.0 is kind of taking off right now and you either got to make a
yeah,
really big wager on Scheffler, knowing that even the greatest golfers of all time only win about 25% of the time,
yep,
or you're probably betting lost causes because he is going to run away with it. But I I can't wait to see it. I think though in a lot of ways the best thing for golf might be a Rahm victory here, because it would sort
Even
of
though he's a live
level.
guy.
Even though he's a live guy. I also think it's funny because Rom is, I think from everything we've heard now, it's pretty much been confirmed the one guy that is stuck on live. Like he doesn't, his contract is going to be a lot longer than Bryson's and
Yeah.
Kepka's and all these other guys to where. I think it was you, right, that brought it up. Like, what if Scheffler ended up winning more money than Rom gotten guaranteed in just the time that Rom's gone from the PGA Tour? Would that not be like the ultimate FU to somebody?
It's getting close, that's for sure. I mean, he's top 4 all time already on the money list in the PGA Tour history, and he's really, I think he turned pro in 18, but really it's just been the last 2 or 3 years where he's
Tell us
been.
when you win 60 million in 1 year just on the golf courses
Yeah,
and what
yeah,
Sky
it's
did
not
last
bad.
year.
But at the same time, he can certainly thank the Live Tour for these $4 million first place signature events too. So that would have
Yeah,
never came to be had the Live Tour
it's
never
very
came to
fair.
be. So
I'm with you. The top five. We'll get into these props.
yeah,
Give me some of the ones you like. You got any top fives you really like?
I love Harris English at 14-1, top five. I
Ooh,
think
that's
I
my
think
boy.
I know a lot of these are going to be kind of repeat what you were saying, but it's for a
Yeah, but
reason.
I didn't have him as top five
Yeah.
on my betting card, but I like that top five. I believe it's in two of his last four U.S. Opens.
Yep. Yep.
And somebody that again he just plays so well. You look at these difficult venues. I said it to Ricky a couple of weeks ago. He played well. Remember the Truist because Cricket
Yep.
Club was a course that ended up playing a lot tougher than everybody thought. And I said, man, I gotta remember to just play English. Every time it's a tough venue, we go to Muirfield. Did I pick English in any of my DFS lineups or have him, to top 10 or top 20? No, what does he do? He goes out and balls because it's a tough
Yep.
golf course. Like, that's what he does. So I think this is a great play.
Yes, absolutely. Had to go with my boy. Gave him as a winner a couple weeks ago, Ben Griffin. He's
Yeah.
13-1 to top five. I'm just doing a half a unit on him. I did a full unit on Harris because, like you said, he just loves hard
You
venues.
asked his game should equate to this course. My
Yeah,
only concern with Griffin is he's had so much success recently and
at
the
at
wins.
some
Is it
point
just
he's
too much? Yeah, the high's
yeah
got to come down.
yeah.
But his game should fit this course very well.
We shall see. As you call him, Russell Bustle, 11-1 to top five. Sepp Straka plus 850 to top five, and those are.
Wow, you bastard. So do you want to know what the DK numbers are on
Well,
those?
some of the
Because I have both of
DKs.
them.
Okay, I want to hear it.
Plus 650 for Straka, plus 800 for Henley.
Wow, that's crazy. Because a lot of these other ones, I get terrible odds as well.
Seems that props are the ones that you typically get better, and it's the win bets that
The win bets, the
are
DK is better. The prop bet seems like
right.
Hard Rock is better. So yeah, those are my top five guys that I've got in there on my official betting stuff.
I really like Rom at plus 210. I think that is, again,
Yeah, if you want to go a bigger bet, yeah,
I feel like that what happened at the PGA was significant because he had kind of been sleepwalking in majors, honestly, since his Masters win and he went to live. So I think it was really important that he got in that position, and I just loved what he said. He just kept reiterating he cannot express to people how hard he's been working to get back to this moment. And he even said after losing, and kind of blowing up that he's still so thankful he got in that position. He got his feet
yeah,
wet again because he said he wants to get back, immediately and try again. And I think he will. Again, I had Struck and Henley. I also had Connors at plus 750,
yeah,
and then Burns at 10-1 because I think Burns is on a little bit of a heater. The top 10 plays, I think there's unbelievable value there. Hideki at plus 450 is insane. Like, I can't
yeah,
believe you're getting almost 5-1 odds on Hideki, who I believe has finished top 18, and it's like five of his last eight U.S. Opens. He is Mr. U.S. Open. Like his game
yeah.
equates so well, and you're getting him at almost 5-1. Give me that.
Yep, absolutely. He's poised to, he always does well in majors too, just kind of in general. He's kind of one of those guys like you were talking about. He kind of elevates his game when it comes to these difficult major championships. Top 10 world, I lived a little bit more on the flyer side of things. I took Ben Griffin to top five as well because he
Mm-hmm.
was plus 550 or top 10, excuse me. And then Ryan Fox, I thought was great value at plus 850 to top
I
10.
look. I am not going to doubt Ryan Fox anymore. I did not finish that part of the story that I led all Sunday basically, and then because of Kevin freaking you and me sharing with a guy that came out of nowhere, I went from winning all day to Kevin you making that bomb that he made on
Yep.
18, needing Fox to birdie to win. And I was sick. That's a difference in $5,000. I mean, it was 10K for first, 5K for second. And luckily, Fox made that bomb. He had an awful wedge in there from 99
Yep.
yards, but
Made the
I am
putt.
so impressed with what he has done. And remember what Lucas Glover did a few years ago. Another guy is a journeyman ball striker, got hot with the putter.
Yep.
And we talk about it all the time. Belief is such a big deal in the game of golf. So I do think that's great value. Again, Leishman and Harmon are the two kind of flyers for me. This Harmon's 8-1, Leishman 9-1.
Whew.
I I hear a lot of people on Patrick Reed this week. I would much rather play Leishman. Reed has
Yeah.
historically not done well at the U.S. Open.
U.S. Opens have
Uh,
not been his strong suit. That's for
it is
sure.
not, and it's because he's erratic off the tee. I
Yep.
mean, and it's why he's so good at Augusta is because that's a course that it's very difficult. But one of the things that's not difficult about Augusta is you can drive it all over freaking God's green
Hmm.
earth. And
Absolutely.
so again, I want Reed to play well because I want him on the Ryder Cup, but I don't trust him at this venue. I think that Leishman has the game for it. And I know Brian Harmon does. Like Brian Harmon, 8-1 to top 10. I can see that being a backdoor top 10 come
Yeah.
Sunday, where he shoots 68 or 69 on Sunday to move up from like 25th to 9th, and we cash that one.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Any top 20 plays you got this week?
I did one top 20 play, and it's because cousin Russell was plus 175, as my friend Jay calls him. So plus 175. He's gonna finish in the top 20. You just think he has to
This is
almost.
where we'll find out if you're the jinx, Ryan, because my
Yeah,
other full unit bet this week,
that's mine is a
Russell
big one
Bussell
on
at
Russell.
plus 150 at top 20,
Yep.
because come on, man, give me a break. I also think English, you need to look what it is on Hard Rock. English
Here, I'll
on
look real quick.
DK is plus 225. I bet half a unit on that one. Those are actually the two bets that I feel most good about by far. The other one again was Grillia, who I talked about. You can get him at plus 550 to top 20. He has made top 20 finishes his last four starts.
Plus
And again, I think it was
575 on Hard Rock for
for
Grillo.
English
No,
or
for
for,
Grillo.
oh, what's English?
I'm trying to find him. I might have bet
Like I
him
say,
on
he's
you, but
225 on DK. Sorry, I
225.
said 275. It's actually 225.
Let
Can't
me
read my own handwriting. It's never good.
see. Top 20. I wish I could just search the name when I pulled it up. It doesn't
So you
let me
can do
do
that on DK, which is
it.
nice.
Okay. No, can't bet on
But
DK,
anyway, it's not that
unfortunately.
important.
Leishman's plus 450 to top 20 on Hard
Mm,
Rock.
wow, that's a lot better. He's plus 280 on DK.
That's a huge difference. That's wild.
Because what
English.
was his odds to top 10? Did you see that?
Uh,
It's all right if you don't have it right there. I was just
no, I
curious
do.
because
I do. I'm just trying
he's
to find it
nine
up scrolling.
because he's 9-1 on DK.
Let's see.
Because the top 20 odds on DraftKings, they must have been taking in the keister on the top
Yeah.
20 plays because a lot of their guys they don't match up the way they normally do. Normally like the top five to top 10 to top
Yeah.
20 odds,
Kind of
it's almost
follows
a
a.
math equation, right? Like a
Yep.
percentage deal.
Yep.
That is not the case this week. Like they're all over the place too.
Harris English is plus 650 to top 10. He is plus 230 to top 20.
So that's basically identical.
Yeah, because you said
Interesting.
225. Yeah.
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 Any other thoughts you got before we get out of here? Because we're gonna try to do 3 shows in a row under an hour.
Whew. Nice. That'll be good. Well, no, I mean, just enjoy it. Let's see how much do you think they'll cook it out this week coming up as it gets to Sunday? Because the USGA is notorious. They tell them to turn off the sprinklers. Usually come Monday or Tuesday morning.
I hope they don't do that because I don't think they're going to need to. I really think
Yeah,
that
golf
they've
course is
got the
difficult
weather that
enough.
they needed going into it. They said this is as firm and fast. Obviously,
Yeah,
again, 16 on stent. I can't even imagine what a downhill putt is like that.
it
Did you
is.
see Zach Blair on the first hole the other day, by the way?
I did not. I did see somebody on the third hole today drop a ball from the top of the green and it rolled all the way down to the fairway.
Blair putted it from 105
Oh, I
out
did
six
see
feet.
that all the way up. Yep, that's wild. I mean, that's
What was
the
wild was he was thinking the whole time it was long. And I'm going, that's never going to get there. And it did. Just
110 yards
it's
in
going to be
putting.
fun. It's going to be a fun week. This is a golf course that uh, we need more like this, though. Like, I
Yeah.
really do like that this is not some monstrous golf course, but it's got so much teeth.
Well, it's going to
And
demand so much creativity around,
that's the deal.
and I love when golfers have to be creative because, anybody can hit it down the fairway and hit it on the green and two putt for par. But when you got to do crazy stuff, that's what makes the U.S. Open a U.S. Open.
And again, I just want to remind people I'd be shocked if like one of the best ball strikers in the world does not win this tournament because that
Yeah.
list of names is literally, if you went and took the snapshot of that year, for at least half of them, maybe more, it's the best ball striker in the world when the U.S. Open was at Oakmont. And DJ was absolutely the best ball striker in the
Oh,
world in
he was
2016.
number one in the world at that time.
And
Yeah.
Angel Cabrera was pretty close to 2007. Like Angel was
Yep.
like a Louis Oosthuizen, where it was just like tee to green, whew, forget about it. Now once
Yep.
he got there, that's where it got a little shaky at times. But just insane stuff. But Ron, you got anything you want to play on your way out here, buddy?
I'll be back on the radio on June 24th, hanging out down here in Jacksonville for quite some time. But we'll be back in the studio on ESPN Northwest Florida here in a couple of weeks. So I'm looking forward to getting
Can't
back
wait for
there.
that.
Yeah,
Cal,
absolutely.
thank you so much for
Yeah, no, we
joining with
appreciate you
us.
watching.
We appreciate all you guys. Again, don't forget, you can reach out to us. We're happy to answer any questions you guys got. And again, take advantage of the F6P PGA code.
Yes, that
Become a,
information is fantastic.
it's so, and again, that is just the golf stuff. There's
Yep.
baseball, football, and I mean, literally, I'll give you my cell phone number if you just want to pester me all day with texts about DFS stuff. Hey, I love it. I
He'll
like.
engage you a lot more than you probably would want to. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
it's
You'll be
good.
going, Keith. I was just asking about DFS. I didn't ask for your takes on the latest TV shows, movies, and current events. So,
Yep.
but that's me. Okay, you got to be you. But good luck the rest of this week, buddy. I'll be thinking
Yes.
about you,
Thank you.
and
Appreciate it.
love you, the fam, and
And we
very
appreciate
happy with
you very, very much.
when I'm looking into you, buddy, on the
Yep.
camera because it means it's going to be fun. So, but for me and
Absolutely.
Ryan, this has been two off the tee, U.S. Open. Let's get some money, boys. See ya.
Absolutely. Take